Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher. We are moving on. We have the chickadee all burnt in the head area and the mantle. And what we're going to do now is proceed on to the wing area here and start developing that coming down. One thing I was trying to state to you is I took a little too much material out in here, and I used quickwood, which was this product right here. And if this is very good if you ever take too much wood out. It's two parts. You cut it, you knead it, and then apply it, and you can get a feathered edge. And what I did is I filled it in there a little bit. I just, for some odd reason, I undercut in here as I was doing this a little too much. And I know of other viewers that have been doing projects with me, and other one of the birds had used the quickwood. And I was recommending that if you go to wood burn, you have to change the temperature range. But I'm going to give you one other choice, and I'm going to show you how I do it, as well as the wood burning. The wood burning means you got to lower the temperature down on your handpiece, and you're really melting this stuff because it's an epoxy. But the way I think would be an easier way is the one I'm going to show you here shortly. So, and then we'll move on with marking out the feathers for the wings, okay? So bear with me. Okay, what I'm going to try to introduce you to now is, this is what I call a stone. It's a carbon silicate, and it has it's a barreled shape, but this is tapered. But you can get them barreled shape. It doesn't matter. It's the edge. I'm looking for something that doesn't have a real big diameter, and it's got a nice sharp corner there. And if you really ever want to sharpen them, I have like a diamond blade like this, or if you have a diamond files, you can lay them right in and clean them up and square them up, and they get real sharp again. And you could literally shape this into a bullet shape and stuff like that just by walking it, so that you can make it rounded as well as squared up. So I sharpen them up with the diamond. So that's another trick I do. What I'm going to do is turn on my machine here. And as I say, I don't always show you. I'm wearing an optivisor so I can see things with more detail. And I'm going to come in here. Now, on the bottom edge, I don't have this quickwood all over. On the bottom edge, I burnt, and you can see it's a darker area. I'm going to come back and do it again, but I'm going to come in with the stone on a 45-degree angle and use that as my texture. And I'm going to, let me also point this out to you. Here's the center of the bib here. I'm going to flare out this way, and I'm going to flare out this way. So that's the direction I'm trying to texture. So I'm going to come in, and I'm raking this. I'm really not going real deep, but you have to get it in there. So it's a matter of just, I don't know if you can see it well or not. It textures pretty fast, and in this way you don't have to worry about the melting situation that you have and getting the right temperature. So at the end of it, I'm trying to rake through where I ended, even though I may have a feathered edge there. I'm just going to make sure that I got everything. And I'll even go back on to where I wood burned in the front because, no, I'm even going to come down to where we had that edge where the bib actually stops right here. So, and I'm working that corner, okay? And if you could see that, I don't know if you could see that well, that's all textured now, and I missed a spot, so I could come back in, as long as I keep raking in the same direction. And you want to check and see. The other thing that's really smart too is I have a rotary brush type that I plug in here, and I run this at half speed. This is like a horsehair. And if you just want to make sure that you got everything pretty good, you can clean this out and then look at it to see how the texture went, so you can get all the dust and dirt. And I see a spot I may have missed right in here, so I could go back and do that. But just even on the burn, the burn gets dusty and dirt in there. So I'll just come in and I'll rake this, and you'll see the brightness of the burn come back up again. So we'll do this before we start painting too, to get all the dust out of all the detailing that we did in the bird. So I just wanted to get you on that. So let me go back and I'll do one more touch on that bib area, and I'm putting the stone in, carbon silicate stone, and oh yeah, and I got to turn the speed up. When you're using the brush type, you want to slow it down, because you'll start feeling the hairs flying out, because it's not made for the speed that this machine can get up to. I think 30,000 RPMs is more than enough to start losing some of those hairs on that rotary brush. Okay, so I think that took care of it right there. Now, what I want to do is, on the feathers that are coming down through here, we're going to put these in. And the first thing we have to do is, if you notice, this wing lays over top of this grouping here. It's like an overlap. It's like this is coming over, this is going under. You can change this, okay? I've done it where in some birds you have like a drop wing. It's not typical of a chickadee, but sometimes, like I think on a cardinal I had the wing drop down and then come back up. And there's separation in the center here, and you see those wing coverts exposed between these two wings. In the case of the chickadee here, you don't have that situation. So to establish how far over this comes, I'm going to do this. I'm coming down to the end of my center line on the wing area here, and I'm going to come over about 1/8 of an inch and put a dot. Then I'm going to draw a real light line right down through here. Now, all these feathers are going to, you can see there's like a track that goes across like this. I'll try to shade it a little bit so you can see it, like in here. It's all this. This is what we're going to pick up now and try to establish. It's this leg right in here. So you can see it sort of curves over. Here's the center line, and we're over about 1/8 of an inch. So we do start with the top one here. So I'm going to come down, if I give you a measurement, just to start, to give you something to work from. These, from the mantle down in the center of the feather, is probably about 3/8. So if I come down from the mantle about 3/8, put a dot, then I'm going to come swinging right onto that line we just pulled off of the center slightly. We're still on center up here, but you can see here's the center line. Here's the offset. So I'm going to come around here and I'm going to swing that feather right in there like that. Then I'm going to come off on the next one, which is I'll give you some dimensions here so you can work from them. This looks like about 3/16. So from this point to this point, 3/16 down, I swing this, and then I'm going to swing over like this. Okay, that's 2. Then I'm going to come down, and they get a little tighter, so they're a little less than 1/8 of an inch here. And I'm going to come out to that line over here. It's starting to encroach over this way. I'm going to start a little bit of an arc similar to this one going around. And then I'm going to flare out this way and bring it around. Then we're going to do, let's see, let me make sure. Yep. Okay. Now we're going to do one more, and this is going to be almost 1/8 of an inch off of that one. This one here. And we're going to swing all the way out to here. Notice we get a little closer as we come up. It's not a straight line. So you're arcing, and it pulls in tighter to the one you just had there. And I swing that around. So these are our main 3, and then these are going to be a grouping. The 4th feather has a grouping going down. It's, let's see, let me count. I have one done here already, and what we have is, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more going down. So what I'm going to do, again, if you notice, I'm getting a little wider each time as I go down. And so I'm coming here, and I'm probably about 1/8 of an inch wide here. And then when I come up, I'm going to butt up to the last one I did. So there's 1. Then I'm going to come down again, about 1/8 of an inch. And I'm piggybacking right off of that one. That's 2. Then I'll come down about 1/8 of an inch more. Start that out. Come down here. Slide that in. So we have, now we got from the 4th feather, not counting the 4th feather, we go 1, 2, 3, and then we come down again about 1/8 of an inch, right in there like that. But the one thing, I think we established this the last time, we have a grouping of what I call these wing coverts, and these are little feathers, and we had a grouping. I don't know if I mentioned this on, I think I did this where we had established this area on both sides, which is this little pocket of little feathers in here. So we don't want to draw into that, so we stop short of that. So all of this area in here is going to get a pocket of these real tiny feathers in here, okay? So let's do that next. We have this grouping coming down. So I'm going to put a C here, and they sort of piggyback off each other. And they get a little bit bigger on each one, not that much. And go a little bit more here, 1, and then 2. So that's that little pocket right in there, okay? Now, let me go back for my reference. This is the one I'm ahead on as far as before I started painting it, and I referenced these so I could see where I'm at. Let's see if I count it right. We have 4. Ooh, did I blow it? Did I blow it? I'm sorry. Misled you completely. And I don't know why I got so hooked up into it. There's another grouping. How did I miss that? This grouping right in here. So after, let's see, I think it's, you have feather 1, 2, 3, and then we had this grouping coming down. But before we go too far, I have to get this grouping in. There's another group right in here, which is going to come in 1, 2, 3, 4. At the 4th feather, we're going to have this grouping coming down. How did I forget that? Ooh. So not a big deal. We keep what we have, but what we do is we're going to erase a little bit of this because we have a grouping that is going to follow right behind these guys. And I'll show you here in a second here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, which is here. This is where it comes back and it hits here. Then there's a group that comes out and down like this. Let me just make sure. Yeah. Yep. It's actually going to be a little fuller. So I'm going to, from the 4th feather now, where the 4th feather, here's 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th feather, when it hits the mantle, is going to come out this way and then be a little fuller right in here. Okay. How did I forget that one? Boy, I got really uptight. I hope I'm not confusing you. And what this grouping is this one right in here. It's these right here. Okay. I don't know if you can see that well or not, but that's what I forgot. So here's how this works. In the same line of action, notice how these are pivoting out this way. I'm going to ask you to run one about, I guess it's about 3/16 wide, and it's arcing. Let me just make this more rounded so you can see. This comes around like that. That's one. And what I'm going to do is carry this down a little bit more. Now the next one is going to be about here. That'll be 2. Let's see, I think, yeah. This comes out a little further. Hope I didn't confuse you too much. It sure confused me. This feather comes out a little further than that one. Then the next one tucks in. And again, they're about 1/8 of an inch apart. And this just comes right up and piggybacks right off of that. It doesn't curl around or anything like that. It just comes right up to it. So you got 1, 2, 3. You got 4. And that piggybacks right off of that one. Okay, and then you got one more. That's 5 right there. Okay, they're about, first one's 3/16, these are about 1/8 of an inch apart. And you're putting this first one in, then this one goes a little bit further, just a little bit, comes out and back, and then you start piggybacking right off of it. I hope you can see that. Okay, now what we're going to do next is we have a small grouping back in here too, so I don't want to forget them. And they work this way. For this area right in here, there's about 3 feathers. This one will come in like this and turn. Okay, and that's this little pocket. You could hardly see it right in there. And that's one. Now watch this. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to piggyback right into the middle of that other one we just drew. And then where we have the wing edge, I'm going to bring that up and piggyback right off of that. So I hope you can see that well. There and there. Okay. Now, we've got the front pretty much made up. Let me just pencil these in a little heavier so you can see them. Some of the lead I have on some of the pencils, you don't want it too soft, and yet you don't want it too hard, because you're trying to erase, you know, like you seen what I just did. This was all wrong because I was continuing these all the way up to the mantle and I forgot this grouping in here. Now, what we're going to do from here on in is we got another grouping down below, which is right off of these. They're a little further down, and this from here to here, which is this from here to here, is about, if I measure that correctly, it is 3/16. So I'm going to, here's our line of action that's sweeping off of the center line. Okay, so I'm going to come down about 3/16 from here, lay this in, swing that right into the line, and then I'm going to start following these guys in that respect. I'm going to take this out like that. Okay, then the next one is about almost 1/8 of an inch, and that piggybacks off of that line now, and then we're shooting out this way. Okay, and then we got another one, and that's going to come around like this. I'm going to swing down to here. Notice I'm getting a little longer each time, but this pulls in tight right in here. These are closer here and wider down here. Hope you can see that. Then I'm going to put another one right in here. We'll slide this guy down to here, and I'm pulling that in tight as I come up. It's wider back here, thinner as it comes up, and then comes around. So these feathers look like they're pulling in. That's what we're trying to give the illusion. Then we get another one. And I'm going to fire that one right in here. And as we come up, we get tighter. comes over here. We slide that one in. Now, we're almost running out of room here, so we're going to split the difference here to get the rest of these in. And this is just an account. You're always trying to sweep over to that offset line, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the difference between here and here, or whatever you have, to fill this in. There are a multitude of feathers in there, but to give the illusion of the wing and some of the feathers, we only put in some. So it's not like it's critical to the number. But from the distance from the edge to the last feather I have, I'm just going to come right down the middle here. Now it's going to get really in tight here. And it's going to get tight coming up. And then this is going to swing right around to that one. So you can see what happened here. I think I went a little wide on this one. So I'm going to bring this in a little tighter right here. Going to get that in tight. And then I'm going to show one more at the end here. And that'll make it the edge. Okay, just like that. So we've now, yeah, you know what's happened? It looks a little distorted here because when we want to round this area, there's a flat in here, and I can feel it. I can feel there's a flat here, and there's a flat right in here. So when we go to relieve these feathers, we're going to have to take out a little bit more so that they look like they're rolling around, and we'll take care of that. This happens, and as you're building, we'll sense this as we go, and where you think you've got it completely rounded, you don't sometimes. And in this case here, there's like a flat that I could feel. It's just coming right in this area here. I didn't round it enough. So don't worry about it. We'll get to that. Now, we're going to start on this side. Let me turn this around this way. I don't know if this is more helpful. We're going to do this side here. And it starts almost at the end of this one, but it's got to look like it tucks in. So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to swing over, okay? It may not be as wide as the top one on this side, okay? So now I'm going to go to the next one. We start just a little short of what would be meeting up with this one, but we're trying to give the illusion that this side is under that, so you don't see the whole feather like you normally would. So I'm coming up and around, and it's a little shorter than this one. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I'm going to come right up here. We're going to swing out. Yeah, I see what happened. I got a line there I'm trying to just get rid of. And we swing right up into there. And then we want to do 4, which is right here. So we're coming out. We're not doing that full swing around like this is like a C in there. We're sort of just coming out and then sliding over. And let me clean this up a little bit. I got more lines than I need. So we're almost 1/8 of an inch, not quite. And we're coming back when we slide in, okay? So these look like they're pulling in, just like these are, okay? Now, before I forget this grouping again, which is this group right here, I'm going to show you. And we had off of 4, we had 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means we have to where we have 4, I got to get back to these guys. That's the group I'm forgetting here. And that starts at 4 right here. Now, I'm going to come in here. Let me see how far this came out more. A little bit more. Like about here. So this one comes up like this. This is showing more. Let me pull that in. I'm going to start right here and come back. Then we came out more. That's what it was. This will come out more, and then it pulls back in. And it's going to pull right about into here. Now, let me get this into here. Now, this is those little coverts that I've been talking about. So, we're going to put these guys in. These are just small feathers, which will drive you to drink when you have to burn them, because they're so tiny. And you're going to have to burn from within there. Just seeds. Just seeds. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I got to come out further on this one. Still not there. This comes out like this. And then down. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 1 up here, a little big on that one. So I'm going to bring that one back. Right to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is out too far. It's not that big of an arc. It starts pulling in like this. 4 and then 5. Okay. Now, we have that little grouping which comes right in here. That's 1. Then you have 2, and then 1 piggybacks off of that one. So notice how it's piggybacking. This one is right here. This one comes right off in the middle of that one. And this one comes right off in the middle of that one and goes to the edge. Okay? So we got that in this time. Thank God. Now, I'm going to come back in. We counted 1, 2, 3, 4, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4 coming down. So we have 4 here. Now we're going to draw off of this 4th one. We're going to draw 4. So we're coming in. I'm swinging around. That's 1. Then we're going to go 2, 3, and 4. Yep. What I'm trying to do is make these the same on both sides, but what you got to understand is this is in tighter, this stretches a little more because your head's turning. Things are just slightly longer on this side than they are on this side. So these will get tighter on this side, and these will get a little longer on this side. Okay, so now we got those in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start building these, which is these little ones that look like they're tucking in. This top one here is going to look like this. Okay, bear with me 1 second. Okay. Back again here. So, sorry about the delay. I'm going to get this one, which is going to look like it's going under there, and swing that out to there. Then I'm going to get this one. It's going to be shorter than this one over here. It's got to look like it's going under. That comes out to here. Then we get this one. And I'm going to swing this one all the way out to here. And we'll get this one. And it's going to come all the way back to here. And this will swing up and then out. And then you have this one here, which is coming out. I'm going to split the difference between here and here on this to get this to coast right on up. Then we got this one, which meets the edge. Okay, so now this one will come up and finish up right there. Okay, I think that's got us. Maybe one more right at the end here. Okay, now we have all the feathers marked out on the wing area here. And what I want to do is I'm going to take you on to the next video, and I'll show you how to relieve these and lift them. And then what we'll do is we'll burn them as well. So I hope you got something out of this one as well. Again, make sure you're stoning this area if you needed to do any filling in or anywhere. Use the stone, which is a carbon silicate, okay, for that. And that should probably get you for any mistakes or where you need to do some filling. That bit will do the job for you, okay? So I hope you got something out of it. I would hope that you did, and if you could give me a thumbs up, and if you could subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that as well. And if you, like I said before, if you have any friends or anything that are interested in doing this, if you could suggest them to my channel as well, I'd appreciate that greatly. And I thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video.